These are randomly generated NHL players, and I will be selecting 20 of them to build a team. There will, however, be 2 players to choose from today, as you can see here. After all the selections have been made, we will assemble this team on NHL 25 and simulate with the hopes of winning a Stanley Cup. We are ready to build another team using Bender, so let's get after it. I've decided I'm going to make things more interesting by not filtering by forwards or defense, so if we end up getting a defenseman and we need to take them, then that could be a decision we make over a stud forward. I mean, I guess we could play that forward on defense, but personally, I'm a fan of having players in their positions, so that's a decision we'll have to make. First 2 players, that's the easiest decision of all time, because defense are maybe going to be harder to come by, and we get an absolute legend right off the bat in Miro. I was not expecting us to get off to such a good start. And this is not bad either. Do I go with Chytil or do I go with Vatrano? I feel like Vatrano would likely be the higher overall, but Chytil does wear jersey number 72. You're not making this easy on me. Yeah, all right, you convinced me. We'll go with number 72. Philip, welcome to the team. John Tavares and Andre Burakovsky. Tavares is going to have... He doesn't have an X factor, but he has abilities for sure. Yeah, let's go Johnny T. I would also like to point out that I don't have the top 250 filter on, so we could get a pair of stinkers. In this case, we got Barbashev, which is awesome. He was a much higher overall than I was expecting last time, so fire me vertical. The only position that I will be filtering for is goaltenders because we need goalies, and I'm not going to risk getting a 72 because what's the point? No one wants to see us lose. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. Might be someone out there rooting for the downfall of whatever team we ultimately make, but going into the sim knowing that we don't stand a chance, come on now. Is it strange that I'm somewhat tempted to go with Ludwig? If I decide to go with Palmieri, we do have 4 forwards to 1 defender, but then again, there is 12 forwards and only 6 defense. We're not in desperation territory yet. Let's go with Palmieri. Next up, we get... Ooh, this is very interesting. Superman or Brendan Dillon. And Dillon is a good stay-at-home D-man. He's also just a big body. Capitals legend Brendan Dillon. We are going to select him. Cotter and Sharangovich. Now, this is a very interesting one and a complete toss-up. I was going to make my decision based on if we've used one of them and not the other. I know we used Cotter somewhat recently, but I feel like Sharangovich has made an appearance as well. I will be selecting Paul. Yeah, my mind's been made up. Roslovic is good, and so is Nino. I think Niederreiter would be the higher overall of the 2. And I also feel like we have a lot of centers already. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and I haven't actually been taking centers and just seeing them, but for those reasons, we're going with Nino. Next 2 players. We get the return of Keegan Kolasar, but we get Sorelli, who, I mean, I can't really turn that down. I don't want to alarm anyone. Oh, wow. Oh, no. I was literally just about to say we need more defensemen. We only have 2. We have 7 forwards, but you're crazy if you think I'm not going with Pasta here. Give me another defenseman. How perfect. Absolutely perfect. We get Cam Fowler, Kiviranta. Sorry, not sorry. Our next 2 players will consist of Batherson and Garland. Both right wingers. I thought Batherson was a center for some reason, but clearly I'm wrong. He could be one of those dual position guys, but either way, they're very similar. Batherson. Certainly down for another defenseman here. We get one, and we get a good one. Devin Taves, who I suppose would have been a former teammate of Anders Lee. I cannot lie to you, this team is looking gross, and we get saved by Adrian Kempe, who has been getting his tires pumped quite a bit in a lot of things I've seen recently. If I see a defenseman, I basically have to take one because we need 2 more forwards and 2 more defensemen. This is actually very interesting. I think I gotta go with the cover boy. Don't get me wrong. Aaron's great. But he is right-handed. I have not been looking at the handedness. Oh no. Maybe I should go with Aaron. That's probably the move. Okay, Ekblad. I'm sorry. Hopefully bygones can be bygones here, but welcome aboard. 2 more forwards, 1 more defenseman, and we are going to be... This could actually not be good. We better get a forward the next 2 rounds. Both of them are left-handed. Kulak, I suppose. So now we're in the opposite situation that I thought we would be in. Thank you, Matty. Should go without saying, but in case it doesn't, we are going to select Beniers for our squadron. Now we just need a forward, or if we somehow roll 2 defense. Okay. Minton. With that wrapped up, we do have 12 forwards and 6 defense, so that couldn't have worked out any better. I should have been taking note of our defensive handedness, but rookie mistake. It is what it is. Well, to be honest, even if I was, did we really have many choices? You know, like there was usually a defense and a forward. There was a couple there that we had a pair of defenders, but for the most part, first round of goaltenders. Are you kidding me right now? This team is going to be gross, and I'm kind of worried because last time we made a disgusting team. Didn't go great. I was just going to skip past it, but just in case. And someone's like, well, I don't know, you didn't select him. I am going with Swayman. Lads, this team is unbelievable. Considering the top 250 filter was off, and we're only getting 2 players, I really thought our team was going to be mid. Yeah, we'll take the nervous guy. 4 Nations, Team Canada, baby. Woo! Hopefully it doesn't go like our World Juniors did. That wasn't great. Our 20 selections have been made. Let's head over to NHL 25, build this team, throw them into a franchise mode, and try to finally win that cup. We are here on NHL 25, and the Welland Wizards are 92 overall in Division 3. I'm not really sure how this team stacks up against our last team that was overloaded, but I feel like it's pretty similar. We're a humble $27 million over the cap. No problem. Well. We meet again. Our coach is Shane Noakes. Hopefully, he's a good one. Last time we had to create a coach, and Monty got fired, decided to pick him up. That worked out great for us, didn't it? Now the question becomes, what is our chemistry gonna look like? It should be pretty good, and it's not. Awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and say that you will not be touching my lines, jabroni. I'm slightly concerned. Why do we have a +3 on the first line and then goose egg for the next 3? Unacceptable. Unless our coach is a defensive coach, in which case the chemistry at the caboose should be unreal. And it's not. We have a -1 on the last pair, a +1 on the second, and then a 0. What is this all about? Call me crazy, and you're probably right. I'm gonna go ahead and move Kulak up, so we get a 0 here and a +1. We have 2 defensive defensemen, and the rest are all two-way D-men. Tending the goal, we hope. Yeremai, backed up by the nervous one. This team looks good, which makes me nervous. And something about this chemistry just isn't adding up. Pasta gets the most points, and he's going to have 99. He's going to be just shy of breaking 100. And I'll say this team gets, realistically, we should get 54 wins. So naturally, what that means is we're going to miss out on the playoffs. First game against the Minnesota Wild, and it is a 3-1 win. Love to see it. The lads are off to quite the start here. 5-1-1. San Jose is 0-9-1, and we did not give them their first win. However, we did give them 1 point. So, anybody watch the first Monday Night Raw on the flicks? What'd you think? I was a little bit worried for a second there because we lost a bunch, and we ended up dropping to like 6-4-1. But now we are back on a rip here, and this team is looking like a serious contender. I love how the Avalanche are ahead of us in the division, though. And we took Devin Taves from them. Our team should be good at both ends of the rink. We have goal scorers, Pasta, prime example. But we also have a lot of two-way guys that should be very good at defending, penalty killing, etc. I'm tempted, but I'm not going to do it. We are quickly, or at least as quickly as the simulation engine will allow us, approaching the trade deadline here. And we're probably going to have 40 wins by the time we get there. Hopefully. Come on. That's a shootout loss. We got to win the next 2. Winnipeg, not going to be an easy one. Honestly, neither is Montreal. They've been doing all right, and they take us down. 39 wins at the deadline is still really good, and we're going to... Why'd you interrupt me like that, Vinny? That is very rude. What I was going to say is we're going to snap this streak of a post-trade deadline collapse. It is not happening to the Welland Wizards. We definitely don't stand a chance at the President's Trophy. In fact, we aren't even second in our division from what I just saw there, which is out of control. Post-trade deadline collapse did hit pretty hard still. We're guaranteed a playoff spot at least. And our first round opponent will be the Jerks. That could be an interesting one. The Avs had nearly 60 wins, 121 points. We had 104, tying the Carolina Hurricanes actually. Tampa Bay had 117, Vancouver 116, so we weren't even close. 5th in the league, which is good, don't get me wrong. Top 16 teams qualified, Chicago getting in okay. Pasta had 101, definitely had his guy. Batherson had 73, Tavares 72, Kempe had a nice amount. Who else was on the first line? We might have to do some adjustments here. This might be the highest point total defenseman group we've ever had. 64 from Taves and Miro, and then we got 30 from Ekblad, 23 from Cam, 18 and 16, Dylan and Kulak respectively. And even goaltending was a solid spot for us. Jeremy Swayman had a record of 37, 21, and 3, 5 shutouts and a 9-15. Bennington didn't have a single shutout, but still good stats. Demko would be the league leader for W's with 47. He had a 9-18 while he was at it. 9-24 for Igor Shesterkin. That is crazy. Are we even surprised at this point? Cale Makar, 104 points, leads defenseman by 24. The next closest was, what does the Fox say? And he got 80. Where's Hughes at? 67, that's insulting. What a year for points. What happened? Nikita Kucherov had 136, Braden Point 135, Nate Dowg 129, Rantanen. I don't know if they adjusted something in the simulation or what, but this seems out of control. It doesn't seem overly unrealistic. The only unrealistic thing here is that McDavid does not have 200 points. He put up his jersey number, 97. That's not happening. Unless he didn't play a full season, which he did. What can I do to this first line? Beniers is a two-way forward, and then we have Kempe, who's also... No, he's a sniper, so maybe there's some clashing going on there. Can move Kempe down for Barbashev. He's also a two-way forward. Sorelli's a two-way forward. We're kind of missing out on like a center playmaker here, or even just a playmaker in general. We really don't have a playmaker on this team. We have a lot of two-way forwards, though. I'm going to try something crazy. We're going to move John Tavares up to be the first-line center. We actually get a +4 then, and the sniper will be moved to the middle instead of the other wing. I don't see that helping, but we're going to try it. All right, let's go see what the Jerks are throwing at us. We do have roll 4 lines ice time allocation, which I am not opposed to because our team is sick. Like, all 4 lines should be going. The Canes have a really good first line with Svechnikov, Aho, and Natchez. Second line is Seth Jarvis, basically. Roslovic is good too, but their decor is super solid with Jacob and Brent, the Yeti Burns, as the first pair. Then they got Bobby Orlov and Walker. Gostisbehere on the third pair should be illegal. I mean, I guess I can't really say much because our team is also unbelievably stacked, but I'm just saying this is not a drafted team here. This is just a legit NHL team. Tending the goal, they got Freddie, backed up by Kochetkov, so no matter what, they have a good goaltender in the cage, which is a similar situation to us. Let's have at it here. First 4 games. There's no way that there's a sweep unless we do it. So I am going to put my faith in the Wizards. 1-1. At least there's no sweep coming. But we could have a... Is this the gentleman's sweep? I think it is. Or maybe I'm totally uninformed. Also a possibility. Can Carolina live to see another day, or will we put them out of their St. Louis, Missouri? They do. Don't push a game 7. Whatever you do, not that. Awesome. Next up is the Winnipeg Jets. Another solid team. Wow, I never really realized it, but their team is deep offensively. And on top of that, they got studs like Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Ehlers, for example. Norrisy and DeMello on the first pair. Then they got Pionk. And to put the icing on the cake, they got Bucky tending the goal. So we are in one here. We are returning back to the rule book. Everybody knows them. First 3 games of the series. Let's simulate and see how we're doing. That's taken a long time. Oh no. That's really not good. Are we going to get swept by the Jets? That is the question. Not even are we going to come back and win the series. At this point, the main concern is not getting swept. I don't know why I jumped into a real-time sim here. The boys don't deserve it. In fact, you know what? We're just going to fully sim the second period. And it's 2-0. Spectacular. Pasta, where you at? All right? No, it was Tavares, but I mean, I'll take it. Power play for Welland, and we don't capitalize. That could do it. Could be the nail in the coffin. We had a final chance there. Couldn't capitalize. And the Winnipeg Jets sweep us. I didn't see that coming. I thought it was going to be a close series, but a sweep? We're talking about practice. The Stanley Cup final is between the Vancouver Canucks and the Florida Panthers. Let's advance a few days here. Just keep going and see who wins the series. Vancouver goes up 1-0. Will Florida bounce back? They do. 1-1 series. It is now a best of 5. Next game goes to Florida. So they win their first game on the road. And Vancouver will not be able to compete with that. It is 3-1. Florida could close this out in convincing fashion, and they do just that. Your Calder Cup champions are the Henderson Silver Knights. For some reason, we just got lit up. -7. But Pasta had 12 points, which is good. Beniers had 9 on the second line, so that is awesome. And Miro had 8. Tavares 7, but he was a -8. That first line just sucked defensively, apparently. 5 points from Taze, 4 from Ekblad, 3 from Fowler. That's good. And you can't even say Sway's at fault. A .909 save percentage and a .290 GAA. Good numbers. Bobrovsky managed to get by with a .903. He ain't winning the Conn Smythe, I'll tell you that for free. Thatcher Demko, on the other hand, a .928 save percentage, and Connor Hellebuck a .937. How are we doing? Not too many points at a defenseman. Quinn Hughes had 15 in 21. Point a game for Morrissey, though, who had 14 games played and as many points. It's a toss-up. Could be either... It could be any three... Hold on. It could be any of the 3 of them. That's still... No, there's got to be a better way to say that. It could be any of these 3. There we go. Nailed it. It's so weirdly incremental. Reinhart had 2 more goals than Barkov, who had 2 more goals than Tkachuk, who had 2 more assists than Barkov, who had 2 more assists than Reinhart. Chucky was a +12, had the most penalty minutes, though. Game-winning goals tied. I have no idea. They'll probably just give it to Reinhart. Nikita Kucherov is your Art Ross winner. He had an insane season. He also gets the Hart. Cale Makar. Again, there's no surprises here. Kuch will also acquire the Lady Byng. So far, of 4 trophies, he's won 3 of them. But he's not going to win this one. Matvei Michkov gets the Calder. They give it to Tkachuk. That's interesting. Shesterkin will acquire the Vezina as well as the Jennings. Bill Masterton to Parayko. Joseph acquires the Jack Adams. Sidney the Kidney will be your Frank J. Selke Trophy winner. Ted Lindsay. Sure, give another one to him. And how about one more? Just because he deserves it, you know?
You kidding me?
Here be the playoff tree. Washington lost to the Rangers in 7. Toronto beat Dallas and then got destroyed by the Rags. Florida struggled in their first 2 series. They went to 7. And then they absolutely dusted Winnipeg, who swept us, and they deleted Vancouver in the finals. Anyway, the drought continues. We still do not have a Stanley Cup on NHL 25, and this is seemingly the impossible task. This will just make it that much sweeter when we do eventually grab the ultimate prize. It's gonna happen.